and because we will be sharing this on our Facebook pages. Just go ahead and turn off the video and we will go ahead and continue on that way. But Wood Badge, why Wood Badge? Well, Wood Badge is like the best thing ever. It is available to all registered leaders. It is a leadership training because after all, to make good units, we need good leaders. And to do that, you need to be trained. So this is a wonderful opportunity to take. A lot of times people compare this to training that is comparative to that the business executives are sent to, except in our case, we are evolved. It revolves around scouting and scouts. And if you're never quite sure everything about scouts, well, this is the time to learn about it. So we are waiting for you to join us.
All right, here's our very, very serious video about your Wood Badge experience. We promise it'll be a lot more fun than that. All right, to continue, we've got some other stuff that we are going to talk to you about on our info minute. The fishing derby, as of right now, is still a go. It is open for both Cub Scouts, Scouts BSA, and adult leaders. It is $10 per scout and $5 per adult. For adults, you'll need to make sure that you have your fishing license to participate. You can sign up for that on the Rainbow Council webpage. The OA Ordeal and Fall Fellowship is scheduled for September 11th through 13th. As of right now, that's what's scheduled. Watch closely, just in case things change. The virtual family campout is the 18th through 20th. Should be a lot of fun. IOLS and Blue, as of right now, are still set to run. IOLS is one of the prereqs for Scoutmasters. So that is, as of right now, going to run. One thing that Ted did want me to make sure to convey to all of you, that currently right now, outdoor activities are limited to 50 participants, not 100. It was changed to 50. And that is not reflected on what is posted right now, but it is 50. Watch closely because that might change as things go on. And if you are having a group that you're meeting of over 50 right now, it needs to be cut down to 50. If you have any questions about that, let us know. Otherwise, I think that is what we have. Other than be very connected, please be watching to see what's happening and what's changing. Bob?
Yes, question.
Yes.
Are the venturers also invited to the fishing derby?
I believe it's any registered scout or adult. So I would say go for it.
Okay, thank you.
I think they're excited just to have people participate, and they are following all guidelines as well. So
I know an awful lot of people that just want to get out too.
yeah, exactly, exactly. But that is something everybody needs to register for if you're going to participate. Don't just show up. Every event that's running has very strict guidelines as to how many people can participate. So be sure you register in advance for things.
If you're having older scouts that are participating, anybody over the age of 16 needs to have a license as well.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Did we have any other questions about things going on in council right now? Okay, cool. We are going to work on our Scout Law Point. Our Scout Law Point for this month is thrifty. And we have heard a lot from different units about how the finances are really tough this year, especially with the cost going up and with not being able to do as much fundraising. And we have heard about units having to charge a lot of money. And Cub Scouts, we had a lot of ideas for how we could bring the price down on things for running. And we also have some ideas for you guys for Scouts BSA. So go ahead, Ez.
All right, so thrifty. A lot of times people think at the scout level that thrifty means that they just need to pay their dues, making sure that they bring their money. Well, thrifty doesn't necessarily have to end there. Thrifty can be also at the unit level. Some ideas that most people tend to forget about is maybe trying to get used gear. Slide by is a great place to find some used camping equipment that maybe some of your units could use. Facebook, I forgot what it's called now. the Facebook Market, it has some stuff as well. Garage sales. A lot of times garage sales have, family camping they don't do anymore. Oh, you can probably pick up a stove or two, or even a lantern. Start thinking about maybe doing a hand-me-downs of uniforms and equipment. A lot of times, I know my son we're in the middle of doing that right now. He's finding his old sleeping bags and stuff that it's not old, they're still good, but he just kind of outgrew it because he's, after all, stretching like a string bean. But maybe pass it down to some of the younger scouts that might not have the equipment, or they weren't coming up from Cub Scouts and don't have that. Think about some grants. There are a lot of grants out there that will help to help subsidize some of the costs of these equipments. Because we are BSA, with just your unit number, or your BSA number, you can get some discounts from REI. A lot of people don't know that there's a Hikers Direct that you need to apply for, because they want to make sure that you are a scouting unit, and they will work with you and give you some, cut you some breaks on some equipment as well. I know a lot of units have used them to buy tents and some backpacking equipment for those long adventures in backpacking. Bass Pro gives you 5% discount with just your BSA number. A lot of times with food is one of those sticky ones. Some units out there have been using some disposable plates and cups and stuff. Really start pushing and expecting for them to use those mess kits. They need to learn how to use those anyways. Think about buying bulks. A lot of times buying bulk is a lot easier than buying those individual packages of like oatmeal or hot cocoa or the Kool-Aid or whatever you're using. Think about going to like the discounted stores, going to Aldi versus going to Jewel, or going to Walmart instead of going to, Target or whatever the case may be. A lot of units use tablecloths. Instead of using the disposable ones, why don't you get the vinyl ones that you can just wipe down and pack up, and they're good to go for the next time you need to use it. So these are just some ideas that could be very useful as a troop to use for being thrifty. I know I see Kyle has posted some things on the Hikers Direct as well as Slide By in the chat for those who want to kind of pick that up as well.
We do have a lot of veteran scouting leaders today. So if you've got something right now that is you found super good thrifty idea for something, go ahead and share it with us. If you've got something, raise your hand or just chime in. We'd like to start collecting some of these ideas and sharing them widely with the group, because this is across the board something that we're seeing a lot of units struggling with.
The other thing that is a good thing to be thrifty about are those trailers. If your unit has outgrown a smaller trailer, maybe offering it up to maybe one of the girl units or one of the new units that just started that's very small, that could just use a smaller trailer. That's another thing to think about, is to start talking to other units. If you're not sure who needs it or who would want it, talk to one of us, your commissioner, your executive, district executive. They could help you find those units that could use some of the equipment. So think about that as well. Which we have Walmart clearance and online specials. Cabela's offers grants for scouting units for gear. That's a good one.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, if that's a communication one we want to keep open, if you have some great ideas, please share them, even if you just want to email me or Ez, and we would like to share them with other units who maybe aren't attending Roundtable and are missing out. Getting to the time of year when camping equipment could be marked down. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Are we ready to continue?
Yes.
All right, here we go. We're keeping it rolling. Today, we are talking about the leader knots. Ez, go for it.
It's back to me. So, leader knots. So, what knots can I wear as an adult I earned as a youth? You know, we have a lot of leaders in this group right now, or even out and about that are not with us, that have been in the scouting program forever and probably are wondering, well, I've earned all these things. What can I actually put on my adult uniform? Well, here's some ideas. For those who have actually earned the Arrow of Light as Cub Scouts, that knot can actually get transferred to your adult uniform. We already know about the Eagle Scout one, but what if you didn't earn the Eagle? There's the Venturing Silver Award that you can also wear in your adult uniform. Or if you're a Sea Scout, there's the Sea Scout Quartermaster knot that you can also wear. And this one is one that most people tend to forget or not know about, is the Religious Award. Because a Scout is reverent, there is multiple of every faith and every belief in the Scouting program that support Scouts, and they have their own requirements to earn this religious knot and this award. And so you can actually find this information through BSA, and they will point you in the direction that you need to go to, and you can find it to your particular faith. And this one gets pushed, can actually transfer over to your adult uniform as well. So don't worry if you didn't earn a religious award as a youth. There is also one for the adults.
All right. And then the youth knot, the Scouts BSA award that we are talking about today, is the recruiter strip. And I will pull that up, or Ez, do you have it handy? Can you pull it up?
I have it. I'll get it.
Ez is going to share the screen a little bit while I talk about the recruiter strip. So this is for youth that recruits a friend into scouting. There are no other requirements for it. So any member gets someone to sign up for scouting. Could be a best friend, could be a classmate, could be someone you pull in at a recruiting event like we're going to talk about with Melissa Rubik here in a few minutes, can earn the recruiter strip. And it is a nice incentive. Anything, I know Bob likes those patches, but it can be anything we can get to get youth excited about recruiting, especially right now when we're really struggling. We've actually seen a little bit of hike of interest in scouting. I know at least in one of my units, I'm seeing, actually two of the units, I'm seeing some interest because kids are not in sports right now. Kids are not in activities right now, and kids are not, a lot of them are not at school right now. They're at home, and parents are looking for a safe way for them to participate in things. And so this might be an opportunity to have them, get them excited, hype up the recruiter patch, have them join in a meeting, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, and earn that recruiting patch. All right, thank you, Ez.
You're welcome.
We're up for the safety minute.
Oh, I need to prepare myself for the safety minute. Give me a minute. I need to wear my safety vest. I'm good now. I'm being safe. All right. With that being said, we know that during this time of this COVID, we need to figure out how we can return to doing our scouting activities safely. Do you want to pull it up, or do you want me to do it?
I got it. One moment.
Okay. The document that Angie is setting up is one that comes directly from National. So please understand, this is only a guideline. The one guidelines that you must follow are the ones that council actually puts out, because that is being very specific to our region, to our state, and is in constant communication with the CDC. But one of the first couple things that you need to understand is that if you think of the word safe, these are good acronyms to kind of think about if it's right for you to return to scouting. The supervision, understanding that the local and state guidance on the preventing COVID-19, which is where our council guidelines come into play. You need to make sure that if you are planning on meeting or are meeting, you need to make sure that your chartered organization has given you permission to do so. It is not one of those situations where I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Your chartered organization needs to make sure that they gave you permission and is aware that you are meeting in case anything happens. Conduct the before you gather protocol, which we will get into in just a minute. Think of the A for assessment. You need to identify those people, the youth and the leaders that are considered high risk by the CDC. You know those units better than your youth and your unit better than anybody else. So keep those in mind. Verify that the planned activity and gathering of group sizes are not prohibited by your local and state ordinances. Angie had already mentioned that right now it's gathering of 50 people.
Inside or out.
In or out. So it's not one and then a different number outside. It is in or out is at 50. So keep that in mind. Review your annual health and medical records. Because we are not camping, a lot of those medical records, the A, B, and C forms are now not up to date. The C portion, which is the one that the doctor needs to do, is not necessary unless you're camping over 72 hours, and no one's camping right now. The A and B is the one that does not need a doctor signature, and those are the ones that need to be up to date and needs to be on the participants at all times. If you're going out as a troop, then it's already in that binder or whatever you're carrying it in. I have started training my son to start carrying it on his person at all times, because we're doing different things with different councils or different units or whatever the case may be. I want it on him at all times so he knows what it is. The equipment and the environment. Make sure that you have those safety protocols on verifying that the washing hands, the hygiene, and checking the cleaning supplies are available and used appropriately. Please be aware that any place that you are meeting, you are cleaning before and after your events and your meetings. If all else fails, go back to those guidelines that council has put out. And the only difference is it is not 100 people, it is 50 people. So keep that in mind. One of the things that we're also looking at is that you're taking people's temperatures. We already know that. For those that have gone back to work, we know that we're taking our temperatures at everything. There is a flow chart here that we have that is
pulling it up now.
Yes, please. It is about the pre-screening and keeping that contact tracing. The biggest thing is the temperature and the name. A lot of times people are like, well, what about all those questions? Well, the questions basically is, have you been out of state in one of the hot spots? And if you've been in contact with someone who has been confirmed with COVID-19, those are the big ones. But this flow chart is a very good one to use when you're asking those questions. Oh, thank you, Bob. Someone he mentioned that to make sure that all leaders are caught up with their training, NYPT must be valid and 2 deep leadership is still mandated. Thank you, Bob.
Very much so.
Yes. Which comes to our medical forms. Many people didn't realize or don't know that earlier this year, a new ABC medical form has been pushed out. They're phasing out the old one. We are going to share this on our Facebook page as well. It is a fillable PDF. I've told many of my parents in my unit and told them to download the PDF, fill it out, save it, and it's done. So all you have to do is just update the date and any of the new vaccines that need to be done. You don't have to refill it out every single time, and it's there to print. The only thing that's not going to get printed out is the C form, because that's the one that needs to be filled out by the doctor. So that will also be part of our sharing documents on Facebook. With that being said, that leaves us to Melissa, who will be talking to us about recruitment and membership. So it's all you, Melissa.
Hello, everyone. So I wanted to start by asking, has anybody had any success with recruitment activities yet this late summer? Anybody had one for their troop?
We're having one on Saturday.
And what are you doing, a virtual one, or are you doing a park, or what are you doing?
We're doing a Weeblo hike to hopefully do some help them with some of their advancements, as well as getting them to take a look at our troop.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's the thing. I know a lot of those Weeblos are looking for, they missed their resident camp. I'm very sad. So I think a lot of them are looking for that Weeblo walkabout and their Weeblo overnights and all those things. So hopefully some of you will be able to help with some of that as some of these restrictions get lightened maybe sometime. Anybody else have any recruitment activities?
We
Okay.
had a Webelos activity, Webelos Invitational, and did a pioneered obstacle course for them to let loose some of that energy on.
Fantastic. And did you get, have you actually gotten any new recruits because of it?
We're likely to pick up pretty much all of the Webelos that attended.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. So I wanted to share the success story that I had. So in July, I am on the membership committee, and Daniel reached out because he wanted to test the waters with a virtual recruitment. You know, it's July and we didn't do anything in May, and our spring ones are terrible. They just are. We've had 2 people show up. We had one at a park where only one kid showed up, and I felt like I was working in a furniture store. We were all like trying to not swarm the one family. But he wanted to try this virtual thing. So I was like, let's give it a try. So PAC 91, which is, I'm the committee chair, we decided to be the guinea pigs, and my fantastic membership chair, Jen Schiffo, her husband Dave's here, hi. We ran a virtual event. So I wanted to show you how that all worked and talk a little bit about how it went. So let me share my screen here, and hopefully you can all see it. So it starts with Zoom, and can everybody see my screen good? Yeah. So when you create Zoom, now I do have a paid Zoom account. I know we were talking about Thrifty. If we're doing virtual meetings, this may be an area where you want to spend some money. It's not too much, and you can do month to month for a paid Zoom account, but this does require a paid Zoom account. So if you don't have one, you might want to consider it so your troop meetings can be more than 40 minutes. Otherwise, there are some at council, some for your commissioners. I have a personal one. Any of us are more than willing to help you create one of these meetings. So I started out with, I'm going to show you here, you create a new meeting, and this is the key thing right here. You want to check this box that it's required to register. This is how they did the meeting tonight, so that when you don't just get an open link to your event and anybody around the world can share it and use it and show up at your meeting. So if you check this little box, that means they have to pre-register. You also may want to consider somewhere in here, mute participants upon entry, and turning off enable join before host so that you have your meeting room, your waiting room. Everybody comes in muted. You can choose when to unmute them, or they can choose for themselves. They're still allowed to unmute themselves, but it's nice when they first enter, if they're late or whatever, to not interrupt. Just those last 2 are just kind of general good things for Zoom, but definitely for this, I especially for anything with scouting, I like this registration required. It also gives you, for these recruiting things, if you don't know if anybody's going to show up, it would be kind of nice those days that I went and rented out the park or rented out the library. It would be kind of nice to know that nobody was planning on coming, so I didn't have to waste my night either. So I checked that, and I'm going to show you here in my meetings. This is what it looks like now that I have that set up. You get this whole section down here, and under registration options manually approve, you can manually approve them, not automatic, because what's the point then? Send an email to the host when someone registers, all of these things. This box, I don't know why it doesn't work. I don't know why it doesn't send me an email. I just kept having to refresh this page to see if anybody's registered. But they have some standard questions. You can just check which ones should be required. And then you can create, just basic contact information. You can create your own custom questions. So this is for a Cub Scout pack. So I really wanted to know what grade they were entering. So I know if I have potential lions, potential tigers, whatever coming, and I can see that. And then when somebody registers, you can see down here, I've got 3 people registered, and I can edit, and I can see who hasn't been approved yet. I can see their name and email address, and then if I click on their name, I can see any of the answers to the other custom questions that I had, and I can approve or deny anybody's anybody's admittance into the meeting. Once that's done, you can edit in email settings. I've had it set to, be sent from Jen, and if they have questions, they can contact her. We can edit the email, and it'll tell, here's what, meeting topic confirmation. You can edit this. You can add in a little bit. We have a highlight reel video, 4-minute video that we created. That's like, it's a slideshow from our blue and gold that we edited to look like a recruiting video. Include that so they can check that out, and then they get their link, and then you can add your own signature. So it's all fully customizable. There's also branding and other things you can add in here, but we set that all up. So now we have this wonderful Zoom. And then what I had Daniel, because I don't have a public Facebook group for our PAC. We only have private for sharing, personal photos and things. So Daniel created this for me as a public event that can be shared. And so you can see we're having another one, because we had one in July and it went actually so well, we're having another one. So we create this Facebook event, and it's got the link to register from Zoom. And we put this highlight here, no later than an hour before the start times, because we had people coming 3 minutes after it started wondering why they can't click on this link and get in. So we send it out there, and then, we meet at Eagle Point. So I'm in Eagle Point Families. And so I set up, hey, did you know we have a PAC right here at Eagle Point? Come and join us next week and hear all about us. And pre-registration is required. I kept pushing that so people wouldn't forget. Lesson learned from last time. So I can share this out. I'm in several moms groups and community neighborhood events. Jen was able to share it to hers as well. Try to push it out. And we did about a week before the event. So I just shared this yesterday for next Wednesday, and then we'll be sharing it again probably Tuesday, the day before the event, just so you know, this is coming tomorrow in case you missed it. And it's interesting to see how many comments come up the day before, because it's tomorrow. But you can see the comments. You can, respond back to people if they have questions. And then that pre-registration helps you know how many people are coming. So that's what we did the last time. I'm going to stop sharing. And so we got almost 20 people to pre-register, and almost everybody showed up. And it was great because I had that waiting room, and I was able to match up the names and know that they were the right people coming in, and admit them as they entered the waiting room. And then I introduced Jen, and it was pretty much 10 minutes of kind of lecture, like who, what, where, when, why, how. What's a PAC? What's Cub Scouts? What is it? What is a den? When do we meet? Where do we meet? How much does it cost? And then we opened up the floor to questions and just had an open discussion with families. And, several wanted to know about our COVID restrictions. So I kind of, talked about those safety things that we just talked about a few minutes ago. My role as the committee chair in following those rules, and what kind of virtual and in-person procedures we have in place. And that was it. After the event was over, we met at a local park. We invited them all, come tomorrow, come to the park. And we brought some scouts out there, and the kids just all ran around and played. And we were able to answer any questions the parents had, bring any paperwork that they needed or didn't get over email. And in the end, we got about 9-10 kids just from that one event. So now we liked it so much, we're trying it again next week. And it's going to be interesting to see, did we just, was it just July and everybody's desperate for something for their kids to do that's not Xbox? Or, is it really, just an early version of our fall recruitment? So we'll see how it goes next week. The other interesting thing is that, it was a setup just like this, and there's some people just like you guys sitting on their couches listening, but there was also like 3 moms cooking dinner. So you can see that, this Zoom affords that ability to multitask. So perhaps virtual is a better way to do some of these roundups, that they don't have to give up an hour of their time, and I don't have to give up 2 or 3 hours of my time to go out to the park or the library to talk about scouting for a few minutes. So give it a try. If you have any questions, I'm going to put my email in the chat. I'd be happy to help you answer any questions you have. I have a paid Zoom account. If you'd like me to set up your meeting for you and attend and introduce you, I'm more than willing to do that. If you're stuck or just want to know more details, let me know. Any questions?
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Melissa, very much for giving us an overview. If this is something you would like more help with, especially at the Scouts BSA level, just give her a shout out, give us a shout out. We'll connect you and help you connect. Also, if you decide to run a virtual event or an in-person event or a hybrid of both, and you would like to share it widely to all of council, please let us know, and we'd be happy to share it on the district pages and on the council's page.
And especially for the troops, make sure you're letting us Cub Scout people know so that we can share it to our event pages too. You know, get our Weeb2s coming over to your event as well.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Melissa. We really appreciate it. That's some good information for everybody. Before we go, we have a couple things, a couple housekeeping. We split Roundtable up into Cub Scouts and Scouts BSA this time so that we could try and target our information a little bit better. On the Cub Scout side, they really, really liked it because they feel a little left out when we have roundtables. How do you guys as the Scouts BSA leaders feel about this format? Any thoughts? Yes, no?
Anything?
I like the virtual because I like that we're all together. I like that I didn't have to drive to Frankfurt or Kankakee to be all together.
Bite your
And
tongue.
I think well, and I hope you appreciate to not have to drive to Plainfield. And Mr. Schiffo is not in Illinois right now and was still able to join us. So I think that, you know, this, just like the roundup, affords a lot of range of opportunity to participate without having to give up your whole night to drive somewhere.
Yeah, we are considering when we're allowed to get back together again, switching between the two, because there's something to be said for meeting in person. There's also something to be said for being in your, you know, business on the top, pajamas on the bottom. All right, what else we got? We had one more thing, right? Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
So many of you have seen on both the Ishkoti and the Waupun Nassau Facebook page that things are happening. So keep an eye out on what's happening with the Facebook pages. Some good things. So just keep an eye out. You'll never know what's going to happen.
Make sure you join, make sure you follow along. Again, anything we can do to help communicate better, please let us know. If you've got any questions, please let us know and we'll try to address it in future roundtables.
If you have any ideas on what kind of roundtables you would like to see at the Scouts BSA, we'd love to hear that as well.
Okay, thank you all for coming. And if you have anything you want to bring up, let us know. Otherwise, have a good night.